This is a video reflection about a request from one of the big FMK supporters, so I felt that I had to make a video about this. The martial artist that he wants me to ask my opinion about is Pan Qing Fu. Okay, this guy is known to be who has the toughest knuckles in the martial arts. Here's a picture of the guy, and you'll see his knuckles there too. And then maybe I could put the link of the article in the description section of the video. I don't know too much about the guy, but I think I've seen the guy in Discovery Channel, that thing that they had a long time ago. They say in this article that he went in the Discovery Channel 1997. And that's pretty much exactly when I started training in my old martial arts school when I first started off. And actually, my old martial arts school took me to a tournament, and this guy was actually there. And I think I might even took a picture with him. And he was like, you know, showing off his fists with the knuckles that were all deformed and stuff like that. And every single photo that he'd take with somebody, he would make sure that he shows the knuckles in the photos with everybody. And that's what he was known for, you know, having deformed knuckles. You know, I made a promise to myself not to be negative, you know, to be positive, not to criticize people and things like that, but it's really difficult when people ask me questions. What's your opinion on this person? What's your opinion on that person? Reading through this article, you know, the positive thing is this guy has accomplished a lot. You know, he's accomplished a lot. You know what I mean? You know, he's got a little experience. You know, he's got some opportunities in Hollywood. He's been in a few movies. You know, he's been in the Discovery Channel. He was like teaching national teams in China. He won some championships. You know, his success is you know, it's clearly something that is admirable. It's something that, you know, he achieved a lot as far as like getting well known, you know, and that's something to be recognized. Because even people that some may consider not that great in the martial arts, even someone like Steven Seagal, you know, I'm not a fan of his, but even him, he's accomplished a lot, like getting into Hollywood, making movies, you know, and this guy has accomplished a lot as well. But he wasn't making movies like Steven Seagal. He wasn't making movies like Van Damme. Wasn't making movies like Jet Li. Wasn't making movies like Jackie Chan. So I think one thing has to be clear is that somebody could be a great martial artist, like a truly great martial artist, but he has not accomplished like success in the realm of gaining worldwide fame and attention and money. So this person right here, I could definitely give him credit for accomplishing a lot as far as like getting his name out there, making money, getting recognized, and you know, basically having those types of opportunities. So again, you know, in this world is very political. So a lot of times it's about who you know, who you're connected to. So somebody like Will Smith, he's accomplished a lot in his life. You know, he has a lot of money and he has so many opportunities. And through his hard work, automatically his son Jaden Smith benefits off of that. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are a lot better at acting and more talented and skilled than Jaden Smith, but they're not going to be able to have the opportunities that Jaden Smith has had because they don't have those types of connections. Their father is not rich and famous, for example. So meaning, like, if you're the son of Bill Gates, you're just automatically going to have an immense amount of, opportunities in your life because Bill Gates is your father. So this person, if I'm going to assess his success, his levels of success, he's accomplished a good amount of things as far as what's iterated in that article. But my opinion of him as a martial artist, from the limited information that I know, which is basically seeing him in person and maybe taking a picture with him one time and reading this article and seeing that Discovery Channel thing like probably 20 years ago and seeing this photograph of this person. My assessment. First off, I don't agree, in my opinion, I don't like the idea of deforming your body, to get attention, to make money, to get fame. I don't agree to that. To me, that's not healthy. That's not real. That's not real Kung Fu. Real Kung Fu to me is like a healthy development towards like beauty, towards health, towards longevity. So, there's other people that do freak things. There's somebody out there, and you see it on YouTube, on the internet, where he injects like this type of steroid into his biceps, and then his biceps are like this big, and he's known to have the biggest biceps in the world, and he's basically a freak, and then people like look at him everywhere he goes, and there's other people like that too, not that doesn't just do the bicep, but they do the whole body, where they just walk around like looking like monsters, and they love the attention, and they make money off of it, and that to me is not Kung Fu. That is just basically being a freak in order to get attention. This to me is another version of that, where you're deforming your body to get attention, to get fame, and a lot of times it works, or it can work. Even Lance Armstrong, he had to do some crazy things to his body in order to win the Tour de France 7 times. And was it worth it to him? To him, it was worth it. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger took steroids to win the Mr. Olympia. Was it worth it to him? To him, it was worth it. These baseball players take steroids to win, to hit all those home runs. Sylvester Stallone was, admitted to taking steroids. So, this person just chooses one part of the body to deform in order to get attention. And to me, for me, personally, I don't find that admirable. To me, a real martial artist is somebody that doesn't deform his body. He creates beauty out of his body. He wants to be the strongest that he can be naturally through hard work. He wants to be the most flexible. He wants to be the fastest. He wants to have the most endurance. He wants to be the most powerful, but all through a natural development, not through taking steroids, not deforming the body. Another thing is just looking at the guy's picture, he doesn't look like he's that healthy. Just assessing the picture alone. Like, I feel like my own father looks a lot healthier than this guy. I feel that my own father is probably more balanced in his fitness development than this guy. So I really don't agree to just kind of just overemphasizing one aspect of a person's development over everything else. So meaning, okay, alright, your right fist is trained, it's all deformed. What about your left fist? Okay, your right fist and your left fist are both deformed and it's trained. Okay, what about your endurance? I mean, how fast can you run the mile at your age? Does he have good endurance? Okay, you got good endurance. Okay, what about your flexibility? I mean, at your age, I mean, can he do the splits? Can he do the middle splits? Can he do the front splits? How high can he hold his leg? You know, his side kicks and stuff like that. Okay, you know, you could do all that. Okay, how about your kicking techniques? How are your kicking techniques? Are they fast? Are they strong? Are they powerful? How about his punching techniques? How about his speed? You know, how about his level of strength, his chest strength, his leg strength, his back strength, his biceps? I mean, what else has this person developed other than his knuckles, as far as the physical aspect is concerned? And then there comes the whole aspect of, you know, can this person really spar, you know, according, you know, at a decent level according to his age and his experience level and things like that. And then it comes to the aspect of meditation, like, is this person, like, meditative? You know, does this person live the way? I mean, that's my assessment of a martial artist. It's not just, oh, you know, this person has deformed knuckles and all of a sudden, you know, I'm going to start worshiping this person that has deformed knuckles. You know, I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, it's not just in the martial arts, but in the realm of religion, they do stupid things as well, to get attention and to gain a following, to get their own disciples. And Osho would criticize these, you know, in a way, these false gurus, you know, in the same way. You know, there'd be people that would be having like groups of followers because they lay down on a bed of nails for like an extensive amount of time. You know, or like people, basically, it's like this world, this culture glorifies people that inflict pain upon themselves, or glorify people that inflict pain upon others. Look at all the money that Mayweather has made. He's like the richest athlete in the world for inflicting pain on other people. And then you got this person who is famous for inflicting pain upon himself. You know, and this culture that we live in, they are mistakenly, you know, giving attention and fame and money towards people that are either hurting others or hurting themselves in unhealthy ways. You know, so I don't agree to it. The real martial artist who's well developed in all areas, because he's developing all areas, he's not going to be the best in anything because he's developed in everything. So he's going to be at a high level, but it's going to be more of a balanced, rather than just being good at just one thing. He's going to be good at many things, but he's not going to be the best at anything because he's developing everything in balance. And a person like that doesn't achieve like worldwide fame and money and all this other attention because this world is focused on people who are extremists. So if you look at like the Guinness Book of World Records, it's always about who runs the fastest or who runs the slowest. It's never about, oh, you know, who is good at everything. No, it's like, okay, who has the longest hair in the world, who has the shortest hair. Who's the tallest person in the world, who's the shortest person in the world. And then they just glorify the extreme. So you got This person's got the biggest biceps in the world. This person's got the smallest biceps in the world. This person has the longest nails in the world. This person has the shortest nails in the world. You know what I mean? Like, they glorify the extreme, but they will never be like, oh, you know, this person is good at everything, so let's put them in the Guinness Book of World Records. No. You know, and you know, that's the gist of it that I see. You know what I mean? Like, this person, I don't know much about him, but from what I've seen and what I know, he is not an inspiration to me. If anything, somebody like Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's made these movies, Hollywood movies, and you could see him, you know, he's strong, he's flexible, he has great kicks, and, you know, he's in shape, and, you know, it looks like he could spar pretty well, and even he, to me, is at such a much higher level than this person. I mean, this person is just, what's special about him? Oh, you know, his knuckles are deformed. Well, to me, the smart thing is, like, rather than deforming your knuckles, then why don't you just wear brass knuckles? Because your bones are never going to be stronger than steel. So, simple. You know, and then they're saying, hey, you know, he's been training the police and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, if you're smart, you don't really need to train the police to deform their knuckles. Just give all the police officers brass knuckles. Problem solved. And it's impractical for America because they're saying in China that, oh, you know, they had a ban on handguns and that's why they needed some martial arts to go in there to train them and, you know, train them to, you know, learn how to defend themselves and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, in America, that's never going to happen. There's not going to be any police departments out there where they're going to ban handguns. There's going to be handguns everywhere. So, China and America, they're just very different. And this unarmed combat training is really more of just a way of having fun when you exercise and, you know, just learn some cool techniques and, you know, have ability to defend yourself. But really, you know, real street self-defense is not, you know, anything could happen, you know, and a lot of times it's dealing with firearms. So deforming your knuckles is really going to have nothing to do with real self-defense. Another thing is, you know, you could have deformed knuckles and your knuckles could almost be as strong as using brass knuckles, but really, if you don't have speed, if you don't have, like, good technique, if you don't have the ability to read, you know, like, basically good reflexes and the ability to, like, truly spar, then that deformed fist is going to do you no good. You know, if you're sparring against somebody, you're fighting against somebody who's, like, way taller than you and they just keep kicking you and punching you and you can't even reach them, what is those deformed knuckles going to do for you? You know, if you're just too slow and you punch so slow and, you know, you can't even, like, last more than, you know, because you know, you're not fit enough to last in the fight and then you just get winded, those deformed knuckles aren't going to do you any good. You know, and you might have a strong fist, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to punch your opponent, you know, and even affect your opponent with that fist. You know, because it's not, when you're sparring against somebody who's highly trained, it's not that easy to get that punch in either. You know, so it's like, I'm much more impressed by somebody who is well-rounded in their development. You know, obviously, like, you know, I always admired Bruce Lee. You know, he was well-rounded in everything. You know, he wasn't about deforming his body in any way. You know, he was very fast. You know, he was strong. He was flexible. You know, he was just like the total package, and that's what I mean. That's to me is what a real martial artist is. He's the total package. Like Jet Li is the total package. Like everything. You know, not just somebody that has deformed knuckles. You know? Or, you know, it's like not just somebody that could kick well. Not just somebody that could punch well. You know, not just somebody that's strong. You know, like, you gotta be everything. You gotta punch well, you gotta kick well, you gotta be conditioned, not just your knuckles, but your elbows, your knees, your shins, your stomach, like, your whole body's gotta be conditioned. You gotta be strong. You gotta have everything, you know? And I don't know enough about this guy in order to really assess him, but really, I shouldn't even be in a position to assess anybody, because, like I said, I don't like criticizing other people. But like I said, these people keep asking me questions, and I just want to answer the question in the most respectful way that I can. So, this person, like I said, is a lot more successful, you know, in the martial arts, you know, out there, you know, than me. So, who am I to talk about this guy? I mean, this guy is making money, he's doing his thing, and he found a way, you know. So he should be given recognition for that, for gaining the respect of so many people to make all this money. But like I said, you know, his physical development, there needs to be a higher level, a higher standard than what is being presented. You know, like, what I envision is, like, when I look at my father, he's 65 years old. Like, imagine, like, a 65-year-old, like, not having to deform his body, but basically a 65-year-old that, say, you know, is pumping out a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of pull-ups, running the mile really quickly. He's moving very swiftly, very fast and fluid, and he's just doing everything as if he's 30 years old. That, to me, is very impressive. Not somebody that's just rocking a deformed fist. You know, it's like bragging about, you know, having you know, a messed up knee or something like that. I mean, but I mean, that's what I gotta say, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are making a lot of money, finding a way to make money. This person found a way to make money because he's well known for having the toughest fist out there, supposedly. Bruce Lee was well known for being, like, one of the fastest. You know, somebody else is going to be well known for being one of the strongest. Mayweather's well known for being undefeated in boxing. You know, people are well known for different things. You know, but I'm just more impressed by pure athleticism that has nothing to do with, like, causing harm upon yourself. So meaning, like, somebody like Michael Jordan and what he was able to accomplish in basketball is very much worth praising. You know, a tennis player that's really great is worth, like, wow, you know. But when it comes to boxing, you gotta hurt somebody, you gotta really destroy people to get fame. That's the thing that I don't like. And then now this person, at least he's not hurting other people, but then he's hurting himself by doing this to his own body. And I'm like, man, this... But you see how Jackie Chan gained fame? He just basically put his life at risk making movies and doing all these crazy stunts, and then he got a lot of fame, he got a lot of money, and Jackie Chan's a lot more successful than this guy. You know, so people find different ways to make money. This person just found a way to make money, but does it make him, like, one of the greatest martial artists in the world? In my opinion, no. Like, the famous martial artists that I recommend to learn from, to be inspired by, are Bruce Lee, Jet Li, you know. And I just made a video about Donnie Yen. You know, my wife asked about him. Even Donnie Yen, I would say would be someone worth looking into over this guy. You know, even if you watch Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies, you know, like his splits and his kicks and everything. I mean, I used to like him a lot when I was younger, you know. He was good, he was fit, you know, when he took off his shirt, you know, he was ripped up and everything in his movies, like Bloodsport and Kickboxer. Like, even him is worth being inspired, you know, because then you see, like, hey, you know, he's flexible, let me get flexible. You see that he has good kicks, let me get good kicks too. You see that he's strong, let me get strong. That's all good. But you look at this guy and his fists are all deformed and you're like, oh, you know, what's there to look up to? Now you're like, oh, you know, let me get deformed fists? Nah. You know, it's like looking up to somebody that has a missing eye, or like, and then making it seem like that's the in thing. That's the thing you should be doing. No, or like looking at somebody because they got all this missing teeth. And then they're like, hey, you know, you should have no teeth because then you don't got to worry about losing them when you fight. And then you're like, oh yeah, let's start doing that. No. Or looking up to those people that got the cauliflower ears. It's like, no, like, there's nothing to look up to. That's not what you should want. Looking up to somebody that has a ringworm. No. Like, I don't want that. You know, I mean, that's not beautiful. That's not that's not something that you want in your life, you know. You don't want your hands to be deformed. You don't want your feet to be deformed. You don't want your face to be deformed. You know, or like looking up to boxers, or, you know, they could take a hit, but then their intelligence is just shot because of all the hard hits they've taken. They lose their memory. That's not nothing to look up to. We should look up to someone like Albert Einstein, you know, who was extremely intelligent. We should look up to somebody like Osho or Jesus or Buddha or Lao Tzu because they were so wise. Okay? We should look up to somebody like Bruce Lee because he was representing like an optimum level of fitness, you know, in a healthier way. You know, we should look up to people that are going to lead us towards health. You know, not towards people who are going to promote us to damage our own bodies in very unhealthy ways. You know, but my assessments are not necessarily just attacking this person. I'm just talking about just the idea of somebody. It doesn't have to be him, but just anybody who's just, he's got the deformed fist and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's famous for. That's what he's making money off of, and that's it. You know, and just imagining something like that, you know. But, you know, like looking up to somebody like Usain Bolt because he was like super fast. I mean, that is like healthier, you know, like, hey, you know, I want to be as fast as him. Let me practice running so I could try to get fast. You know, but here, you know, when your fist is all deformed, I'm not about that. I don't promote that. You know, or even that guy that's injecting stuff into his arms and his arms are all deformed. I'm not about that. I don't promote that. You know, I promote beauty, I promote health, I promote longevity, and anything that doesn't go in accordance to that, I don't promote it. You know, so it could be football, it could be, you know, boxing, it could be cage fighting, it could be anything, you know, where you're inflicting pain upon yourself or other people. I'm not about that. You know. And that's it. That's what I gotta say.